summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna have my shirt say, maybe.
We are live, the Kratom Gals. Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
everybody.
Hey.
The Kratom Gals are here. We're live. Thank you for those watching the replay of this. We appreciate you so much. Just so you know, this live stream is presented solely for educational purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician or other medical professional. We just come together here to share our insights, our thoughts on videos. And boy, do we have a lot of thoughts. But let's first introduce the Kratom Gals. I'm Madeline Sklar. I host the Kratom Stories podcast, the Kratom Real Talk Forum. I assembled this group of gals for the Kratom Gals, which has been so much fun doing. But let's have everybody introduce themselves. We'll start with Misty.
I am Misty Brown. I go by the T Bish or Miss T's. I am a former addict turned advocate activist.
My
Yeah.
name is Jennifer Gillis. You can find me on social media though as Winifred Jenkins on Facebook or TikTok. I'm also on Twitter. But I have been consuming Kratom for 5 years coming May. It's changed my life. And I love that Madeline started doing this because it's helpful to stop the misinformation and, watch it with everybody that consumes Kratom. We can all react and learn the truth and see the lies all at the same time.
Yep. And my name is Venus, or Kratom Butterfly, and also Kratom Miracles on Facebook and KB and Kratom Butterfly on YouTube. And I found Kratom in 2016, and it helps with all my chronic pain issues and mental and physical. So it saved my life.
Well, I'm so glad y'all are all here and you have gotten so much benefit out of Kratom and that we come together on here to help share our message with others. We got Angela here. Hey, Angela. Craig
Hey,
is
Angela.
here.
Hey, Craig.
Craig
Hey.
says, always makes my day, these videos. I'm so
Yay.
glad. Twinkle's here. Great to see
Twinkle.
our
Hey,
regulars,
Twinkle.
our crew. I love it. We have just so many awesome people that come in here and hang out with us. We appreciate you all so much here. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to join our mailing list. And that way you can stay up to date on all things Kratom Gals, Kratom Stories podcast, on and on and on. Our new episode this week of the podcast features Alexander Karp, who is a co-founder at Etha Botanical. So last week I had interviewed Victor Chung. Him and Alexander co-founded Etha Botanicals together. Is one of my favorite vendors, and their stories they're so interesting. I had to do them as separate interviews because they each have such an amazing, unique story about how they discovered Kratom and their journey and going from advocates to becoming vendors purely to help people. And Alexander is so fascinating. He spoke.
Yes.
We saw him speak at Newport Beach. That was him, the tall guy with the bald head. That was Alexander. And he gave such a compelling testimony there in Newport Beach. And sadly, they decided to ban the sale of it anyway. But he's always traveling around. He was in DC when you and I were there, Misty. I didn't know what he looked like at the time. Otherwise, we would have been hanging out with him. But he is so interesting, and he's an engineer by trade. So he developed the Etha's Kratom tablets that I love. I always take them on the go. If I don't leave home without them. He developed that, being that he has that engineer mind. And his co-founder Victor said, "I don't want any additives. I want it to just be the Kratom. Can you make a tablet that's just the Kratom powder, nothing else in it, no additives, no binders, nothing?" And that's what Alexander, through a lot of trial and error, was able to do. So it's so comforting to know that when I take those, like, there's nothing added to it. It is no different than me taking the crushed powder. So
Yeah, it was I actually just got done listening to it before this started. It was really cool to hear it from like an engineer, and him,
yeah,
not even coming from the Kratom industry, but from another industry. It was very interesting.
it was. And how he talked about how they developed this new product, these Kratom mints. And it was just fascinating to hear the thought process behind some of these things. So yeah, it was very intriguing, and how Kratom has helped him with his pain issues. So Angela says, now that y'all have introduced me, I know y'all are ready. Good to put a face to the names. Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
Dolores says, I wish I can stay, but I'll watch the replay. Thank you, Dolores. I
Thank you,
know,
Dolores.
you know, it's hard picking a time that works for everybody, but it's always recorded. You can always watch the replay. So we appreciate y'all's support so much. We have such a great group of friends here that come and hang out with us each week.
The
And
Kratom
also,
community is the best.
it's
It is.
amazing.
It really is.
I have to say, I have been building a variety of online communities since the mid 90s. And this has just been a phenomenal community of people that we've all gotten, just with our crew here, the Kratom Gals. Y'all are all so amazing. We all met on Twitter, which was so surprising to me. Even though I come from teaching Twitter, that's been my background for like the last 10 years, I still did not think that's where I would find you all. I thought it'd be elsewhere. So I always thought that was so interesting. But we've all expanded out into meeting so many people on TikTok as well, and YouTube. I connect with a lot of people on YouTube through our videos. I get a lot of comments. Are y'all
Nice.
noticing that too? Are y'all been getting comments on our Kratom Gal videos over on
Oh
YouTube?
yeah. Um, sorry, I was trying to do 3 things
Y'all
at
are
once.
I know,
I
me
multitasking.
too.
totally just went bloop. I
Y'all are
have
like
no idea.
y'all are promoting this live stream. I know.
It
I appreciate y'all doing that.
it takes like a good 5-10 minutes to get it all out whenever
That's why I
we're
kind of
starting.
ramble in the beginning because I know, like, I see y'all's heads like they're trying. Y'all, so if all of you guys live are going like, what are they do? Why are they not paying attention? No, they're trying to put this out there all over social media. Like I sit here and ramble for a little bit, and they're all just sitting here. Hold on, I gotta post this video that we're live streaming. The Kratom Gals, I love it. And also, before we dive into our videos, we are sporting our Kratom Gals t-shirts,
Oh
courtesy of
yeah.
Miss T's merch. Look how cool these are.
You know, I gotta say, every Saturday when I'm getting ready for the Kratom Gals, it like hit me today. I was getting out of the shower, getting my clothes on. I was like, I feel like I'm suiting up. You know what I
Me
mean? I'm like
too.
Yeah.
suiting
Yep.
up in my freaking cape, trying to
Yep.
I
go and
love
stop
that.
people from lying and spreading the like,
I
we're
even spray
suiting up
on
to
my
do a job.
I even spray on my body spray and my perfume.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
love it.
it's just, it's I think it's a really good thing that we started doing this. And
I
I'm glad so many
agree.
people like it.
I'm so glad we did this. And I know when I was pitching this to y'all a while back, I know it's kind of like, I know Misty was on because Misty, you're so good at you're comfortable doing video. You're already doing lives on TikTok quite regularly. I know Jennifer and Venus, y'all are like, well, it sounds cool. I don't know. And we did a few practice ones. And Misty, there was one time that you weren't available. And we were still I was trying to kind of help them get into the groove. So we did a practice one. And I actually just found, I was copying some videos off of StreamYard. And I found the very first one that we were practicing that I think we live streamed it on my YouTube and that was it, but it was really to help get y'all comfortable because I think we were getting ready to do our first official one with Misty. And it's like y'all have come such a long way. And I love that y'all are so comfortable
I love
doing this
it
now.
though. I'm so glad that I decided to stop being such a wuss, you know? I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
Once you make that jump, once you get over that fear, it
Yeah.
becomes just like clockwork. Like,
And
you
I'm
don't even
so at the verge of just
Routine.
doing the TikTok, man. I mean, like I said, it's weird about talking to the camera and stuff, but it's like there's so much I feel like I want to say on so many things that it's not
Right.
like I can't just do like a text or a picture. I'm like, I just really need to say it. You
yes.
know what I
Right.
mean? And I know everybody on TikTok is so, I mean, the Cradle community is supportive regardless,
Right.
so I don't know why I'm such a chicken shit.
All you gotta do is just do it. That's been my motto in business for I even have it as a tattoo. I think my wrist thing cut. Let me show you because like this is one of my favorite tattoos. Like I really did get
Just
that.
do it.
Oh my
Just do
gosh.
it. um, well, I really credit that for like helping me so much as a digital entrepreneur since the 90s because it is so easy to overthink. Like think when you're
Yes.
doing an email. And I can remember back in the 90s going, you're typing your email to somebody, then you have to say, and you're like, wait a minute, should I send this? Maybe I shouldn't. And you read it and you're like, I don't know. And then we
I
hesitate.
change it
It's so
500
easy.
times.
Yeah.
what I started doing when I was building my first online community, my Go Girls Music in the 90s, is I just kept saying to myself, just do it. Just hit the send.
Yeah.
Don't overthink. Just send it. Don't worry so much.
That
And
was me on TikTok when I
yeah,
first
a lot of
started.
people do that. A lot of people do. I mean, that's just actually a very common thing. And I just found that I need to stop overthinking and just put something out and let it go, you know? And if it turns out it's like, you can always, not really an email, but like, let's say you post something on social media, you can always go delete it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's
I
better to
don't
just
wanna be
put
that
stuff
person,
out.
though.
Nope.
I
Nope.
do not wanna
No,
be
no,
that
no.
person.
I don't mean the person that keeps writing, you know,
But
like
there are a
something
lot of people
wacky
that, like
and then delete and then do something
yeah.
wacky and then no,
I
I
mean,
don't
if
mean that.
anybody does that that's watching, that's cool. I'm just saying, like, I don't wanna,
I
I'm
just
not a
mean
dir-
like I mean the overthinking kind, like the
I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah.
overthinking, like, you know, this is good, you're gonna put, but it's like, but wait a minute, should I? What if one person doesn't like it? Like, you got to get out of that
Right.
mindset. That's why I think y'all should totally be doing more TikTok videos
Yeah.
because y'all are so comfortable on camera now. Look at y'all, you and Venus. Y'all are like doing so great here. I'm so proud of y'all. And this was a program before I was taking care of my mom in 2018. I taught because I saw a lot of this. And so I taught a program called Video Like a Rock Star and just teaching. It was mostly women. I don't think I had any men in that. I think it was all women. And I did a variety of cohorts the whole year. I took like a group at a time and we'd go for about, I think 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, I don't remember. And working them through getting comfortable, getting on camera, how to, you know, get good lighting, how to just live stream, how to do recorded. And so many people came out of their shell and they just need to practice. They needed to practice in a comfortable environment.
Yeah.
And it worked so well. And I thought, well, here all these years have gone by, taking care of my mom. I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention. And last year when I was kind of getting back to the real world, it's like people are still not comfortable going on video, whether it's, I mean, I saw a lot of that on TikTok. And so it makes me think like, should I do a program like that again? It takes practice and having like a buddy, accountability buddy to practice with.
Yeah.
And a
Well,
lot of
that's what
people
I'm
don't
saying. If it
realize,
weren't for y'all, I mean, of course, like,
right.
I probably would never be doing this. Yeah.
Because
Same.
But
but it's because I'm like the just do it gal, like, let's just do it. Because I've had this idea for a live stream for quite a while. I was like, that'd be fun to do, but I don't know about me doing it by myself. I need like a group. And Misty, you're like, I'm like, Misty would be so good with this. And she's so knowledgeable, especially with all the legal stuff. And then as we were all becoming friends and getting to know each other, it's like, oh, well, you know, I think it'd be good to have like a group of us. And since we're all ladies, it's like, oh, let's call us the Kratom Gals.
yeah.
So,
And then we were born.
Yep.
yeah. Mary says, don't be afraid of people not liking something you post. Yes, so true. There might
That's
be
right,
some
Mary.
that may resonate with. That's exactly, I mean, that's why
That's what
we all,
Misty tells me all the time. And it's so
yeah.
true. I've seen so many people like it blows my mind. Like even not even going like live, being on the camera on TikTok. I've already met someone not only knows what transverse myelitis is, but like he also has like a spinal cord condition. And
Mm,
so like we were talking back and forth about stuff. Like I can't talk to anybody about that kind. It was just cool to
yeah.
already connect with somebody like that. It
Right.
was really cool.
Yeah. That is cool. That's how we've met so many amazing people talking about Kratom, just getting on TikTok and sharing our message and
It's
connecting.
just all you got to do is just open the door. Just open that door. Your people will come through. You let them in. You don't like that motherfucker, shut that door right off.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Hit
Block
the
him
block.
right away. Yep.
I notice such a difference when I just get into that block mode. Like my TikTok has been so peaceful for months now.
Yeah. I don't like
It
negativity in my
makes a
life.
big difference when you just start blocking them all as soon as they come on with one negative comment. I feel like the algorithm is picking up on that or something because all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is so nice. I don't have any haters.
Yep.
It becomes rare. You know, I haven't had one on in a while. It's like, this is so nice.
Or they just sitting back waiting for the opportune time to pop their head
Yeah.
out of the
True
sewer.
that. Yeah.
But then they end up boosting your algorithm when they come in and
Right.
do that. So I know, Misty, you've gotten some great algorithm boosts. I've had a few myself. It's like somebody coming in with something negative and us turning it around into something
Yeah.
positive. I love that. Well, let's watch some videos. I actually got like a whole bunch of different things for us. What I want to start with today is a video. Y'all might have seen it. Jordan, our friend Jordan from New Hope, the Oh My Kratom guy on TikTok, shared a video of this lady. Her and her husband had gone into their shop to buy kratom. They were interested and wanted to learn more about kratom, and they ended up spending like an hour and a half, 2 hours there in the shop in person. And this lady, she's so cool. Y'all immediately will see she's one of us. She's super cool, and she's entertaining, and it's 6 minutes long, but I really feel like we should watch the whole thing because they're so cool, and they're just like, I think they're just like sitting at home or in the car or something, and they're just talking about their experience of kratom after meeting with Jordan and Mike in person at New Hope Botanical. So let's watch this. I mean, if y'all want me to stop at any point, just interrupt and I'll pause. But I think this is just a good overall video for us.
Hi.
She's funny.
This is me and my husband. Hey, Harrison's. I just want to talk about that kratom stuff because someone asked me a question about it, and I can't even believe how much it's changed everyone's. No one wants to be on medication, okay? Because what they do is they play games, okay? They act like pain patients are freaking addicts, and they act like addicts are patients. It's really fucking strange, and I don't like being told. And I told you this, so I went to that New Hope Botanical. Me and my husband. I was like, in Crestline. I was like, I have to go. I have to go. Like this kid is like he's got me, man. He's got me
Yeah.
hypnotized. So we go, we're there for a couple hours. He gives us the lowdown. He's the best, him and Mike. Okay. So Jordan and Mike, okay, New Hope Botanicals. I'm not even like I'm a sponsor or anything, obviously. I'm just trying to tell you what's up. So the 5 gram of white I do in the morning, not Coke. It's like white crème. Okay. I just take it and then
She's
I
funny.
chug some like coffee or iced tea. It is so gnarly because when we first tried it, I looked like a dragon. Like we had all this powder coming out of our nose. It doesn't dissolve. It just sticks there, huh, babe? And we're like, and I'm like, I'm a girl, so I'm used to like swallowing that. But for men, it's crazy. But you can mix it with yogurt.
We gotta find her. She's
Yeah.
cool.
And then or anything, I guess. But do not drink soda.
No
It'll come up.
carbonated drink.
It'll come up like a damn volcano. Don't what else? Just you have to like put it to the back of your throat and then hurry up and drink something and pray to God that shit goes down.
It only takes a few days to get used to what's going down with it.
Yeah. But it's great. And I'll take anything natural over just being on these goddamn pharmaceuticals. And with lupus, it actually helps with the inflammation and all that crazy shit. So it's like, well, of course I want to do that instead of steroids and all that other shit that makes me look like this. I'm all chunkums. And what else, babe?
So I started Saturday. I did the white and the green.
Mm-hmm.
It worked, but headaches were gone like immediately.
Oh my God,
As soon
instant.
as you drink it, you're gone.
You can feel your brain just
Instant
feeling
pressure
better.
release.
Yes, that's what it
So-
feels like.
Now, they didn't give me quite the effect I was going for with regards to what I'm trying to do with my bad shoulders and everything.
Right.
On Sunday,
Uh-huh.
I started with five grams of the red in the morning and take 2 or 3 around lunchtime, somewhere between noon and 2. No more headaches. I can move my arms up past my midpoint now. I'm full of energy. I'm alert. I actually started working out again today. So
Nice.
Yay.
This makes me look awful.
and I haven't had to touch one piece of the medication since I started on Saturday. Not one.
Nice.
I didn't
Yes.
even have the need for it. So kudos to you, Jordan and Mike. Wonderful fucking product. I just feel like a new person now.
It's
Yes.
crazy.
I didn't think that something like that could do
Right.
what it's doing, and I am just
So finally, I was hypnotized by this damn TikTok. That's why I don't know why the fuck they want to ban it, because TikTok's the place that it helps people. If I
Right.
didn't do this, then I wouldn't have seen this kid going on about it. And I was like,
Mhm.
and he knows what he's talking about. And I only really like to listen to people. I know this sounds terrible, that have been through it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I
Yep.
not give advice about something if I haven't been through it. And if I've
Right.
been through it, I've been through a lot. I'll talk about it. I'll be like, well, this is how I handle the situation. He has been through so much, so I listen. You know, when you go through shit and then you overcome and then you fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'll listen to that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they got like he doesn't even smoke cigarettes. Like we don't drink, we don't do
take Tylenol most of the time.
we don't do drugs, we don't do I mean I smoke cigarettes and I love coffee. Don't even come.
Ain't no
I mean,
judging
we
here,
don't
sister.
smoke weed, we don't do any of that
We
shit.
gotta get her
So
on
it's
the
like,
show. I love
Yeah.
her.
you know, and the pharmaceutical shit's I'm over it. And my husband's just starting with MRIs and all this. I said, welcome to hell. And like Jordan and Mike, man.
And we asked at least 687 questions. Never once did they get irritated.
Mm-mm.
We must have been there for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I had a pencil in
And
my
they
hair.
literally went through it.
I was in my jammies. I was bad. I was torn
I love
up.
her.
They went through it
Yeah.
from the harvest to the bag for sale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything and everything in between. They have research, they have documentation, they have interviews, they have you name it, they're about it.
Talk to the doctor from John Hopkins. He talks to people who have like had, I guess, addiction problems and they overcome it with the kratom or whatever. Switching like a lot of women with lupus. I don't know why we get it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Yeah.
we get it, but it's dumb. Just really overcoming these issues. And that's the thing. Like when you have problems, you get kind of sad. It's situational depression, not real depression. But the thing is like your brain still wants to go, but your body's like, nah, bitch. Like, and we can't have that. Like we've got shit to do.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
Like only
Yep.
50, not 80. Like let's get it together. I mean, yeah, we kind of fucked it up though when we were young. Yeah, it was bad. It was great. But I'm just no regrets, no regrets. So I'm just saying, like, Jordan Mike, New Hope Botanicals, hell yeah. Sorry this video's taking forever, but there was questions about, well, how do you do this? How many grams this? How many grams that? And I'm can't type really well. As you like, if you go on my page, it looks ridiculous. And I admit it, I'm fine. Whatever. I'm old. You know. But so I just thought I'd talk about it because fucking A, dude. Right?
Oh,
All right,
dude, I
well.
love it.
It's a winner in my book.
She's
a winner.
great.
I'm glad she's talking.
You're like, my
I love
Is she on
her.
TikTok?
That is on TikTok. So here let me tell you like how good I am at investigating. So what Jordan did yesterday is he must have seen her video of this and he did a screen capture video of it, right? Because you know, like sometimes you'll see on somebody's TikTok where everything's like superimposed, so like the hearts are right next to each other, like everything on the right side, and it's like hard to decipher like how to tap on it because they just took the existing TikTok
Screen recorded
Yeah.
it.
and screen recorded it. So I'm trying to look at the name. I'm like, I gotta find because she's not tagged anywhere in the. He didn't tag her. I looked in the comments. Maybe I thought maybe she had commented nothing. So I'm like, okay. I looked at her name. I'm like, I'm gonna go find her, and I actually found her quite easily. Her name is Rihanna Harrison. It's Rihanna Harrison 3 is her TikTok, and so here, let me pull this up so y'all can see. So this is her. I was able to see that name here, so I went and searched it, and there she is, and she is so cool. So we need to track her down. If anybody watching this knows her, or we just need somebody connect with Jordan and find out, we got to have her on the show.
Oh shit, we
Yeah.
friends.
She
Well,
is cool. Okay, reach out to her, Misty. Let her know that we shared this, and we'd love to have her come on sometime. She is a
Okay.
riot. I love her. I
Well,
love her.
you know, we could do the video drop. So Rihanna Harrison 3, when you see this video, reach out to one of us. We want to get you on this live.
Definitely.
We want you on here, definitely. Yeah,
So I'll screen record that part and tag her.
yeah. Please do, because gosh, she is.
Yeah, she's got a great personality.
She does. She has a great personality. She's funny and sharing, and exactly what we were talking about before. Coming on social media and sharing how this plant's helping her, and just think of how many people she's now helping because her and her husband made that 6-minute video.
And like she said, firsthand experience. Like that's true though. Like you don't want to go through something and go ask somebody that's never dealt with any problems in their
These
whole life.
recovery all stars on
Exactly.
TikTok
Right. Right.
It's
that
like,
seem to
you
have done
want to go
every they've seemed to have done every drug in the damn
Yep.
book. They just whatever, you know, like Mr. Adderall, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know what we just witnessed is the power of kratom. It's the magic of kratom.
yep.
It makes you want to go tell your brothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, uncles, dog, and cat. You know,
Yep.
like Jennifer said.
Like Jennifer, I know. I'm always going to think of cat though. Just
I
Jennifer, that was
know.
so good when you did that.
Oh,
Yeah, so true. And with people I'm helping on their kratom journey being brand new, is like once they see the power of it, one of the first things they always say is, I'm telling all my friends, I've been talking about,
yeah.
letting people know that this is helping me. And it's
Or
just amazing.
the first thing they'll say is, "How come I didn't know about this sooner?"
Yeah.
Yes,
How
Yeah.
come I've
Yep.
never
yes,
heard about this?
yeah. Why is it not? Well, I tell you what's cool is an interview I did yesterday. It'll come out later next month. Is Dr. Mike here on TikTok? Y'all, some of y'all might know who he is.
Oh yeah.
He is a like Heidi, where they're technically, doctor, PhD, but he's licensed nurse practitioner, but he has his own practice, and he is primary care and pain. His practice, they do,
Wow.
it's amazing. And he caught my attention on TikTok months back. I think he's friends with Claudia Morandi and a lot of those chronic pain advocates. And I just love people that are just advocating for those in that community, because I was part of that for so long, just like you all were. And I will always be part of that community. But what caught my attention several months back is he tried kratom. He does suffer from chronic pain, but he has like 31,000 TikTok followers. He has a pretty big presence there. And one of his community members was asking about kratom, and he says, I'm the kind of guy where I'm gonna have to try something. I can't talk about it if I don't have already tried it. And even being a bedside nurse like 30, 40 years ago, whatever it was, he said, I would try things that might, so I could relate to my patients, which I thought was interesting. So he tried kratom, and it started with him talking to Jordan, going back to New Hope Botanicals with Jordan. And he was making videos talking about how this helps. And so I had to get him on the podcast, because we're finding more and more medical professionals who see the power of kratom, and he will get on his TikTok and say, I've seen him do this multiple times, if you cannot access your opioids for your chronic pain, try kratom. And I love that. And
We need more like that.
I feel like
Yes.
we're going to start seeing that tide turn, because then when they've tried it and they see the power of it, like he wants to talk about it more in his profession, and hopefully he's educating others in his profession with that. So I think it's just going to take time, but I think we're going to start seeing that shift. But yeah, I had to interview him for the podcast, because I think that's just so cool to have people in the medical profession that really see the power of our plant. Love it.
You know, just like last night, I saw just randomly on X, I saw this chick talking about how she got approved for her choice to unalive herself. You know,
Yeah.
and so I went and looked in her post, and I think she's suffering with what you got, Venus, the interstation, the
Interstitial. Just I can't say it either. I
yeah.
see.
Yeah. And so I guess she got I guess she said in her post that third time was a charm, so she got approved for, suicide. And so I just dropped my comment. I said, try kratom first.
Yeah.
It's something as simple as that can change
Right.
somebody's outlook on the rest of their fucking
100%.
life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that. I think I saw it because you commented and then put it in because a
Yeah.
lot of times when you comment on something, that happens on TikTok as well. It'll help put something into the feed for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Yeah. And that was actually something Dr. Mike said in my interview with him yesterday. He made a comment about that too. Like, because sadly people are ending their lives, and it's like, but wait
Yeah.
a minute, here's something that might help, and people
Right.
need to know about it. So I'm going to play a video next. This was an interesting one I found on YouTube that came out just 2 weeks ago, and so much misinformation. It's three and a half minutes long. I think it's worth us watching. Now, what I thought was odd about this video, and I think it's just I think it just boils down to being clickbaity, because this YouTube channel is called 26 News. It only has 83 subscribers. And this video I'm going to show only has 68 views. But it just goes back to how much misinformation is out there, and that we need to be aware of stuff like this.
Yeah.
And what's odd to me is that this 26 News, it's just generic news that doesn't seem to be specific region. That's why I thought it was weird that it's called 26 News. But what I thought was odd is that the title, this clickbaity title, is "The Effects of Kratom, the New Addictive Drug Circulating in Chile." And I'm like, okay. And I see the low numbers. I'm like, why do they say Chile? And I go look at this YouTube. I'm like, but this is not a YouTube account for Chile news. The whole thing is so bizarre. But I want to play this video because it's so full of misinformation, and it pisses me off. I don't understand this connection. I mean, they do talk about Chile a bit, but I just don't understand why this YouTube account that is not specifically news in Chile is doing this. I don't know. So y'all watch, and you'll let me know your thoughts. So here we go.
Alerts were triggered in the region for a new, highly addictive drug that is circulating among young people and is already causing concern in Chile, having already killed 30 people in the United States in recent months.
God.
The
This is 2
psychotropic
weeks
drug
old.
of natural origin generates effects similar to opioids. It induces anger, paranoia, and psychosis. Some experts claim that in high concentrations, it resembles fentanyl or morphine. Its trade name is Kratom. Its scientific name is Mitragna speciosa, a plant native to Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, where products derived from
Thailand?
seeds are marketed as
Right.
medicinal supplements to improve mood and treat other health problems. Kratom is processed into a powder form. As a drug of abuse, it is marketed in different forms, in pills, capsules, or as an infusion. It is promoted with alleged medicinal properties, but consumed in high doses, or its active ingredient, which is separated in laboratories, is lethal. Its sale has already
Laboratories?
been prohibited by the Health Authority of
Laboratories.
Chile. The same had been done by the US FDA, which added kratom to the list of prohibited substances such as heroin, marijuana, LSD, ecstasy, and fentanyl.
No, they
Once
didn't.
its main active component is extracted, its singularity is to produce strong addiction. Its effect
I
takes
feel like
place
this is an
10 minutes
AI
after
voice
consumption
too.
and
Doesn't it seem like very
Yeah.
AI, because they can't even pronounce certain things right? It seems like a video was circulating in Chile about kratom. This video came out 2 weeks ago, so it's not that old. It's almost like they put it into AI and said, "Here are the videos. Create something." Like they're just trying to
Yeah.
get content. But it's just, isn't this wacky? We're not even halfway through it, but it's just, this is
I
some
just feel like
wackiness.
it's
Yeah,
odd.
let's keep
I
going.
guess Thailand is full of thighs.
Thailand.
can last between 2 and 5 hours. When ingested with substances such as alcohol, the depressant effect is even more potentiated, which can lead to respiratory failure,
Oh my God.
cardiopulmonary arrest, and the death of the patient if not treated in time. Consumers have no idea how to measure kratom, nor what they are ingesting. The U.S. National
Wow.
Institute on
Gosh.
Drug Abuse catalogs kratom as a herbal substance that can
Herbal.
produce effects similar to opioids and stimulants. That comes from Southeast Asia, and that it is a plant from the coffee family.
True.
On March 23rd of this past year, the investigative police of Chile detected a shipment of 260 kilos of green powder from Peru. It was the new drug that is spreading around the world, kratom,
What?
highly
Drug.
addictive and with harmful effects on health. Earlier, on September 8th, 2022, the drug had already been detected in Chile. According to information from Customs, they received 2 boxes with 20 vacuum-sealed plastic bags, the content of which was the same green powder. It came from the United Arab Emirates. Evidence
What?
has shown that small doses
Dude.
of this drug have stimulant effects, causing some agitation, but at higher doses, it has depressant effects on the central nervous system.
No, it
The
don't.
leaves of this
No.
plant contain a wide variety of chemical compounds of the alkaloid type, which can seriously affect the organism. A publication of the Chilean University of Andrés Bello explains that the effects of kratom on humans depend on various
the-
factors, such as the quantity consumed, the concentration of the substance in the leaves or pills, the product formulation, the way and frequency of ingestion, and the simultaneous consumption of other drugs and alcohol. The
It's like they're trying to
scientific
get as
work
much
highlights that the
bullshit in
effects
this
Yep,
thing
described
as
for
they
this
can
drug
get.
Yeah.
exactly.
increased energy, higher alertness, increased heart rate. Subsequently, opioid like effects appear, such as relaxation, drowsiness, and confusion. It also reports other consequences, mental and neurological alterations, confusion, tremors, and seizures.
Nope.
Cardiac and pulmonary
Isn't this
problems,
ridiculous?
increased blood pressure, and slow breathing.
No.
Gastrointestinal problems, nausea and vomiting, and hepatic complications that can lead to the consumer's death.
They pretty much
Oh
just
my
read
Wow.
all the side effects
God.
from FDA approved pills.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Is that the
Yeah,
most
that was
ridiculous
totally
thing?
weird.
It
It's like
is
they were
weird.
trying to get a bunch of bullshit in, like they
Yeah.
just put something in an AI and said, "Put all this
Yes.
bullshit
Yes.
in,"
Yep.
and then this video was made. But
And
it's like,
revolving around chili. Like, wasn't that part bizarre?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you
that
don't usually
part.
hear chili.
Here, Craig says
Kratom,
it best. I've never been confused on Kratom. I've had some darn good alertness though.
their their Kratom is Chile's competition to the cocaine.
Right.
Oh my
That was really
goodness.
odd. It's like,
Oh
and
my
they just kept
goodness.
going. It's almost like if I try to make a freaking news article because I just
Yeah.
start going off on the wrong it's like it just
And not
I feel like
pronouncing
where are they
words
going with
properly.
this?
Like some of those words. And I don't know if y'all saw, I was showing this earlier. Hi, Venus's mom says, "Oh my God, this is like being the opposite of what Kratom is, more
Yeah.
propaganda."
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's exactly why we show videos like this, because this exists. This popped up in my YouTube so easily. Like I just did a search for Kratom and this video was created
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. It's like,
And think
oh
about
my.
if this type of video went viral. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Think
Exactly, which
about
is
if
what they're
this
trying to
exact
do.
one. Yeah.
People try to go viral to make money. Like that is a way to make money, is the more views, the more money you make from YouTube.
And you
At
scare
least
people with stuff like that.
yes.
New
Yes. And
drug spreading.
at least it was low numbers, thank God.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of things we all need to be aware of, that this crap exists. Even from a no-name YouTube account with very few followers, very few video views still. Like, what if this had gone viral?
Or just the wrong person saw it. Say someone influential in
Yeah.
any community would have seen this video and actually thought this is a real factual video, you
Like
Like the
know?
Mr.
whole Emmy
Adderall.
like the whole
Yeah.
Emmy thing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's
Some
not
news
what
story probably gonna pick that shit up too.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yep.
sure. So, it's ridiculous that this kind of content exists out there. I hope we see change soon, especially with the FDA now admitting that kratom is safe at all doses. They're doing studies. They're not officially releasing it yet, but what I'm going to be doing for next week's episode of the Kratom Stories podcast, you'll have heard me talk about how the ethobotanical podcast called Live Fully with Kratom, they did an episode a while back, I think it was last month, talking about how the FDA, is now saying that, through their research, it is safe. We've been hearing a lot about that, but Alexander Karp, co-founder of ETHA, actually was at the Kratom Symposium, the third annual symposium back in February that was held in Florida. And the FDA got up, did a presentation about it. And that's how all this information came out. They haven't publicly released it yet. They're supposed to do it later in the year. But he did a whole 30-minute episode talking about this. And it is so eye-opening. So I asked them if I could have permission to just play their episode on my podcast, because I just want to make sure more people hear about this, especially people that are researching kratom and they stop when they see all that misinformation, especially the FDA's big time misinformation.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, and I'm not trying to talk, I used to trust the government, I mean, what else are you going to do? Think, the government lies about everything. Like we have to trust somebody, but it's like, the more that you find out about the FDA and if you still trust them and you've seen black and white proof that they have lied to you your entire life.
I
You
know,
know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna believe them on this though.
I
Right.
You
know.
know, you're gonna be that's the thing you're gonna use. That's the point you're gonna bring up every time.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
They need to not. They need to take the F out of Food and Drug Administration. You know, it's
Exactly.
just Food and Drug
Yeah.
Administration.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
And they get bought by the pharmaceutical industry,
yeah.
and I don't understand
Yeah.
why people hold them in such high regard when there's already been proof, and just paying attention to seeing how many of those people in power at the FDA go on to be on boards at Pfizer
Yeah.
and
Yep.
other
Yeah.
huge pharmaceutical companies, because they paid their dues at the FDA but kept getting their kickbacks, bribes, whatever, and they get
It's the
rewarded.
whole. Yeah, it's the whole. I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back
Yep.
Yeah.
situation.
And when it became apparent with the whole OxyContin thing and how that got pushed through the way it did, even though I will always publicly say OxyContin was one of my most amazing drugs
Yeah.
for medication, for my pain management. It was like one of the very few ones that worked so well on me. So I was grateful it was available. But the way they went about it was so shady that all they did was buy off a guy at the FDA to rubber stamp it and put it through. And that's
Right.
Mhm.
just not right, because we trust, at least not so much anymore, but trusting the government, and there was a time where we trusted that.
You know,
Yeah.
I saw the article you posted on X, Jennifer, about the milk. I didn't read
Yeah.
it though. What was that about?
It's like I guess there's been a lot of reports of bird flu in I know New Mexico. There's like 5 other states or something, but they randomly tested 5 shipments or whatever of milk just nationwide, and they came back with having bird flu in it. So I
Are
guess
y'all
Wow.
they're
seeing that whole shit that's going on with Logan Paul's Prime drink?
No, what's going
No.
no.
on? What's happening?
I guess the Great Prime energy drink has like 3 times the amount of forever chemicals in it.
Ah,
And so
Ooh,
now they're being, Logan Paul and them are being sued for that.
wow.
It's insane. It's like, the FDA want to bitch about kratom, but they're allowing these energy drinks and
yeah.
these milks,
Well, the
you
Right.
know,
Lunchables, the
and the
Lunchables,
Oh,
Lunchables.
the Lunchable.
you're
That
Yeah.
feeding that
Yeah.
to your
when that
kids, and
came
like
out, yeah.
the milk, I told my kids they live on freaking milk. I'm like, man, maybe we should think about because then it's easy to say let's not buy from the store. I wish I could not buy from the store. Like if I was
Back to the milkman
self-sustainable.
days. Back in
Yeah,
the
but
Yeah.
it's like,
70s, you had the
you have
milkman.
to trust your trust in somewhat
Yeah,
in the government.
yeah.
And it's just wrong that they're taking that and just,
That's what I'm
they're
saying. They need to take food out of their
yeah.
100%.
alphabet name.
100%. 100%. Well, I actually became a vegetarian a long time ago. For me, it's about the animal rights. I mean, when
I
you
got a
start
bathroom break.
watching, yeah, when you
Go
start
for it.
watching all those documentaries about the animals and agriculture, it was enough to turn me off from
Yeah.
all of that. It started with the whole beef, cows, and like, oh my God, that's what they do
Uh,
to the cows. And
I
it's like,
saw a
I can't,
documentary on HBO when I probably, I was young, man. I was probably 18. To this day, I still remember like how they showed the chicken slaughterhouses and
yeah,
the
it's
cow
so
slaughter. And I'm like,
sad.
dude, but I mean, I don't eat a lot of meat, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I
I love
know
my
it. Most,
vegetables and my
yeah,
fruit though.
yeah. Well, I guess after seeing enough of those documentaries, it was enough to
Yeah.
be like, I
Right.
can't. Plus, it's not bad for your health. I mean, it brought my cholesterol way down. I mean, me and my siblings have high cholesterol because of my mom. It's hereditary,
I bet
and
you feel better. I mean, I can say like what you put in your body really
yeah,
affects how you feel. Like if I go and eat, say, fast food for 2 days, I feel
right,
awful for like
Right.
days after. So
sure,
I do try to watch what I eat. So I bet being a vegetarian, you do feel pretty good
Mhm.
most of the time.
yeah. I mean, I stopped the fast food a long time ago, but it all
Yeah.
started with a documentary about the cows in the slaughterhouse called "Meet Your Meat." That I'll never forget. It was on YouTube. A friend of mine had me watch it. It was on YouTube, and Alec Baldwin was narrating. And I mean, there's just tears coming. After watching that, I never ate beef again. I
Yeah.
just like, I
You
cannot
know,
do that.
Jennifer Martin, she's also,
Yeah, I
animal rights.
interviewed her yesterday for the
Did
podcast.
you? Oh, did you? I like
Her
her.
hers will come out later next month. She is so cool, and we had such a great time chatting. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
she's a vegan. She's actually an activist, being a
Yeah.
vegan, and, I know a lot of people do it for health, and a lot of people do it for the the animal, aspect of it. For me, like, I don't really notice a huge difference health-wise. It's nice to see that my cholesterol came way down and the doctor was super
Yeah.
impressed. That was about 12 years ago. And I've gone through periods where I went back to chicken for a while because I'm just so naturally thin, and I felt like I got a little too thin because I am a picky eater. And if you're a picky eater that's a vegan or vegetarian, that's a bad combination.
Yeah.
So there was a time I did go back briefly. Then I watched another damn documentary. I'm like, I cannot do it. So I've been so good. I'm like, I will not do it. But one of the things I've talked about both on our Kratom Real Talk platform and in other communities is that in my morning Kratom dose, I add super green powder to it, and it's just fruits and veggies as a powder. And it was something I used to do in smoothies a long time ago, but I add it to my Kratom in the morning, and it's like a berry flavor. But I feel like I'm getting extra fruits and veggies in for the day, so
That's a
pretty
good
nice.
idea.
Yeah. And it adds a little hemp powder, which is protein. It's interesting getting creative, you know, with how you consume your kratom.
And I would just like to have everything I need just in one shake and then not have to worry about it until the next time, you know? Not have to
Yeah,
keep eating a bunch of stuff.
yeah. Some of our viewers are in the tornado watch area. Rebecca, hope you're going to be safe there. And Angela also mentioned they're about to be hit with large hail. Y'all be safe where you're
Yeah. I
at.
hope everything works
Yeah,
out for y'all. That's
Yeah,
scary.
be safe.
it is scary. God, y'all see the tornado they showed yesterday on the news? Oh my God, it was huge on the highway.
The 2 mile, or was it the 2 mile wide one?
It was just whatever I saw for just a second. It was huge.
I know it's
Wherever,
been raining here, right today. It's just been raining all damn day, you know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't. I love and hate this season. I anytime tornado warnings come on, I right away go get my shoes on. That's the first thing I do.
Yeah,
And I think anybody in areas that have emergencies like that, whether it's earthquakes, tornadoes, should always have in their emergency bag kratom, a bag of kratom,
yes,
because you don't know when you're
yes,
going to be able to go get your medicine. I used to always have
yeah.
nightmares about that. I would dream that I had this backpack on and then my medicine would just keep falling out. But I wanted to help everybody out there, but I just couldn't get it. So I think everybody should have kratom in their emergency bag.
That is such a smart thing to bring up, Venus. You know, years ago we had a hurricane, and I was taking care of my mom several years back, and we were without power. I want to say it was. They kept saying the power. Oh, I think it's when we had that big freeze, and probably that big Texas freeze a few years ago.
I
I just
remember
remember we
that.
were without power a few times, and it was scary. Now, if I'd been a toss and wash kratom user, it'd be no big deal. Like Misty, I'd just be doing my spoonful of kratom powder and wash it down. But I like to make my little kratom tea. Heat up a little bit of water and then mix it in. And I started like panicking, like, oh my God, they say we're all going to be losing power because of this freeze. What if I can't use the microwave? Like I started panicking. I'm like, oh my God. And I think it was before I had the kratom tablets as my backup for stuff like that. So I planned ahead. I just made a whole bunch of doses. And I just was using that microwave and preparing. And it dawned on me like, I can make this in advance. Why do I always make it as soon as I'm ready to take a dose? Like I don't even like drinking it hot. So that kind of led me to start, making it ahead of time anyway. But yeah, that's so smart, Venus, like being prepared because you never know.
Yeah, and then because you're gonna be distraught anyway. You don't need to be in pain, going through withdrawal, all that stuff too. So
Yeah, very, very smart. All right, I got another video for us. This is an interesting one. I'm just only going to play the first couple of minutes of it. It's a video with Joe Rogan when he had Morris Hamilton, is that right? That's his name, right? Morris
Hamilton Morse.
Hamilton Morris. Okay, I don't always get his name right. When he had him come on talking about why kratom is illegal, but the first couple of minutes of this was interesting. I've been wanting to play it for a while, so I thought I'd pop it in here today for us to watch. So I'm just going to play the first 2 minutes. Otherwise, it's like a 13-minute video, but there's a lot of boring parts, so I'm just going to play the good part.
Worst environment. I was on this discussion about Kratom. Are you familiar with this?
I'm on it right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just took some.
I'm on it right
I
now.
fucked my knee up the other day. I did something, and it's been stiff and painful. So I iced it before I came here, and then I just took 6 of them. See what happens.
Wow.
I don't
Took
like how
10
he
once.
talks
Oof.
about it. Like,
10
I know, like it's a drug.
capsules?
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
I don't
material.
know. Can you grab that? I'll tell you exactly what's in it. But now I get why people might think it's a drug.
What is a drug?
Yeah, for sure. But when I took 4, I was like, well, I took 2 for the first time I took it. I took 2, and a couple times I took 2. And I'm like, this is like a mild stimulant. But then when you get into the range of 8 to 10 pills, it's like, oh, this will fuck you up. This stuff. The stuff I take is Urban Ice Organics, and
That's Kelly Dunn's company.
see, it says.
So, side note, when I watched the documentary Leaf of Faith, the very first time I heard about kratom was watching that documentary. I was trying to figure out okay, if I'm going to buy some of this stuff and try it, I don't even know what to buy. And I remember I remember I had to back it up in the Netflix, and there was one point where they showed the packaging. And I saw the Urban Ice Organics because there was no other information about where to buy it in the documentary, and I didn't want to go to a smoke shop, so I wanted to just find a good online vendor and purchase it. So I saw it, on there. I go and Google them, and I ordered from them because I figured, well, they were in the documentary, and it was like, oh, the guy that was in the documentary owns this company. It just all felt like a legit way to start. So
Urban, I did the same thing, because I bought the kratom that was featured in the documentary. So Urban Ice is how I started my kratom journey.
Yeah, I bought their capsules to
Me
start.
too.
Yeah, which is what he's holding.
It says take 2.
It doesn't say the amount of material in the capsule.
What does it say there?
750 milligrams. Okay.
So not quite a gram.
Not quite a gram. All right. That seems like a reasonable amount. But they always construct these things in these ridiculous, dramatic oppositions. Like it was me versus a woman whose son had died of some kratom-associated overdose. And, it turns into a thing like, well, what do you have to say to this woman whose son died? It's like, I don't know. There are people that die from caffeine overdoses as well. It's tragic that this happens.
Have people died from this?
Yes. They
How much do you have to take?
An enormous amount. I mean, I think a lot of people set up these unrealistic expectations with these drugs where if they like a drug, they want to say it's impossible for it to kill anyone. It's impossible. There's no possible way. If you set that as your standard, you'll always fail because people will die doing absolutely everything. Running, having sex, defecating. Aspirin, absolutely. There's nothing.
That's all I wanted to play in that, because then they just go off on all these tangents. But I always find him so interesting.
When I first heard and saw his documentary about kratom, Hamilton Moore, the pharmacopoeia one, I saw that in 2018, but I was high as hell on my Percocets, and I was sitting back shaking my head. I was like, ain't no damn way a plant will have you doing that. Ain't no damn way a plant will get you off of them pills, So that's my first memory of kratom. But I just shrugged it off. I'm like, they're full of shit. The FDA loves me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, he's in the sciencey world, and the scientists and researchers and chemists and all them, they go by this motto of never say never.
yeah, well, yeah. And I can understand because science is changing all the time, but I don't know. And the advocacy part of it, in real life, it's like realistically, realistically. And I was going to say something else. I can't remember what it was now.
But that Hamilton Morris is Soren Shade's best friend.
Yeah.
So when I met Soren Shade the first time out here at the Colorado Capitol, I was like fangirling. I was like, oh my God.
He's just so cool. When we all were hanging out in DC, he just has this cool aura to him.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He reminds me of
and
like somebody who would go hang out at like a jazz bar, just reading his book, sipping on a
yeah.
cappuccino.
Yeah. And when I met him, I at first did not connect. I didn't realize Top Tree was his Top Tree Herbs was his. I didn't know his name like through that at the time, but I did try their tea bags like 3 or 4 years ago. Just because I'd heard about it and it sounded good, and they were doing it before it was real common to do a tea bag, a kratom tea bag. But I'm going to be interviewing him for the podcast soon. I'm really
Oh,
excited.
that's cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear his
I
story. When I
just
met him,
love the podcast. I just do.
thank
Like
you.
every episode, you not
Thank
only learn
you.
something, but just hearing all the people that you hear about in the kratom world. And I think it's good to just, everybody's voice be heard from
Mhm.
every
Yep.
angle. It's
Well,
just
y'all
cool.
feel free to share it far and wide so we can get more listeners. It is so interesting to hear other people's journey with kratom. I know podcasts are not really big in our community. I know a lot of people tell me they don't even know what a podcast is. So if you don't listen normally on some kind of podcast player, you can always go to the website, kratomstoriespodcast.com. There's a player right on the website and you can click and listen that way. But it's available like an Apple Podcast. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, Apple Podcast is already pre-installed. You already have that app. All you got to do is go in there, type in Kratom Stories, and then you can listen that way. If you just hit the follow button, then you'll always get the new episodes each week. It comes out every Friday. But I think right now it's just not enough people know about it, or they're not really into podcasts, so they don't know how to go listen. So y'all feel free to help spread the word. We're already like 24 episodes in. Yesterday was episode number
Wow.
24. I'm so wowed by that we have so many of them already. But that's because I make sure we have one every Friday. There's always a new episode.
Were you able to? Did you fill up your slots? Were you able to find more people?
Yeah, because the problem was people were like rescheduling and stuff, and so I just ended up with this gap. And now it's the opposite. Like I got plenty, but I wanted to play Etha Botanicals FDA episode anyway, and I don't want to get the information to be too outdated. So I just figured, you know what, I'm going to just put that in for next week, and that helped too. So yeah, lots of great episodes coming
And you
out.
can catch them on YouTube too. You put them
I
up on YouTube.
just
That's
I don't know
right.
why I didn't think to do that before, and I know a lot of people just prefer listen because on YouTube podcasting is becoming a lot bigger over there now, and
Yeah.
so I just didn't have it connected before, but I did that like last week, and so now every episode is there, and every Friday the new one pops right into uh, my YouTube. So Kratom Stories Podcast YouTube, if that's a preferred method, that's a good place to go. Missy, I still don't know how you listen at 2x speed of anything. I've been trying lately to do 2x, and like my brain I can 1.75 I can kind of do, but boy, 2x, that's like a special talent when people can do that because that's a very fast speed.
Well, I'm trying to get caught up on the episodes. I know most of the people that you've interviewed so far, so that's why it's easy for me to just listen on two times
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, so you can catch up. I know because it's been so many episodes.
Yeah.
Our next video, I got a couple of shorts I'm going to play. This first one's just a minute long, but it was something that Misty shared with me, and it's pretty wacky. I think you had this on Facebook and on your TikTok, but the version on TikTok, you were using a voice filter, and I could not understand what these people were saying. So thank you for sending me a version where I can actually understand what they're saying. I love how you cut their heads off because we don't want to give them any props.
Oh, I know.
And so Misty gave me a copy of it, and I actually have it on the Kratom Stories Podcast YouTube, but unlisted, just so I could share this with you all today. It is so whack. I cannot wait to hear what you all think of this one. So brace yourself. Misty, thank you for putting this together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this whack-ass drug called Kratom. Actually, I have a lot of strong opinions about it. Fight me. I don't care, but
Fight
check this
me.
out. So, Lauren, you used to do Kratom, correct?
Oh, yes.
First of all, what is Kratom?
Again, I don't know.
It's a tea.
It's a tea. I actually took the pills.
Does you work for a Kratom company?
Yes.
Why would you do something like that?
It didn't show up on a drug test. Depending on the type, you got a little body high.
Kind of like opiates.
Yes.
When you worked for a place that was selling them?
Yes.
What
I
was it?
worked in the warehouse that produced bottles of Kratom. kratom, I got caught eating like a whole bottle of kratom
Eating?
in like the break room.
Yeah,
You're
eating.
there helping distribute this stuff, but you got fired by that company that puts bad energy into the universe.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people will take kratom often too when they don't want to go back on a regular opiates, or they even want to detox from it. The come down from kratom is
So bad. Mentally, physically, I wanted to die. It affected my job. I was very angry.
if you're struggling with kratom addiction, you can always call me.
Because
Another example of the recovery all stars.
yes,
Yep,
yes,
yep.
because at the end, that's what he had to throw in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I cut off the part where he actually named, did his phone number.
Thank you, because we don't want any of that. I mean, how ridiculous! She ate a bottle.
Yeah, that
Don't
killed
eat
me.
kratom.
He
I
totally
ate a
coached
bottle.
You
her.
don't eat it.
Oh yeah.
And she would have been puking.
Yeah, for sure. Especially just from the capsule, the gelatin part itself, probably.
Yeah.
And he asked, "So what is kratom?" And she says, "I don't know." So he
But you worked for a kratom company.
So
Right.
Wasn't that crazy?
he proceeds to coach her.
Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. How can you sit here and say that you work at a kratom company, you take the kratom, but you don't know what it is? And yeah,
Yeah.
Angels like bottles of kratom,
And you're
exactly.
eating bottles of kratom on in your
That's
lunchroom. Like obviously that's not, she's like, when she got off, if we got her fired, it's like apparently you weren't really a good worker in the first place, sister. Like,
Right.
there's
I
just
don't know.
some
The
crazy
come
That whole
down,
video is so
the
stupid.
come down from kratom. Like
Ugh.
what?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Hey, my friend Brent's here. Hi, Brent. Thanks for
Hey,
watching
Brent.
over on Twitter.
Right.
Hey, Brent.
Brent comes from my old community, my Madeline Sklar Twitter Smarter community. Always great when some of my friends from there come over here now. But that is just the craziest video that y'all had to see, and our viewers had to see, because
It's just so fake, It's
yeah,
it's like 100% fake, just made up just to
right.
get views.
His whole squad is fake as fuck. I'm
Oh,
not going to
yeah.
name him.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to name his squad, but I've seen their bullshit for years now.
Well, look at this. That Kelly says they use people to recruit more people, which is exactly what we just
Yes.
saw. And
Yeah.
they use AA as a recruitment center. Wow.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
They're
It's like,
trying,
oh, crap.
AANA to me is just an old played out program.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so dinosaur turds, and
Yeah.
these people right
Totally.
here try to revive it, is what they do.
Yeah. And I mean,
Their
dude,
whole crew is
if that
fake.
works for some people, that's fine.
Right.
But, when you're pushing it down people's throat and
Yeah.
then making up, I mean, dude, when you're making lying about stuff to profit off people, that bothers
it's
me.
wrong. It's wrong.
Just fake.
How long ago did that video come out, Misty? Is that pretty recent?
I think it was last week.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was recent.
It's a lot of misinformation coming out recently. That was just, thank you for sharing that, because it's just so whack.
You're
And then
welcome.
here's another one. It's only 14 seconds long, but this one is pretty whack too. So this is a
Oh
YouTube clip.
God, another.
It's
Is it
short.
possible to overdose on kratom? Here's some signs to look out for: confusion or delusion, slow or difficult breathing, chills, vomiting, or drowsiness, even violent behavior. Share with somebody who needs to take it easy with the kratom.
Jeez.
Wow.
That
Where did he-
dude steals a bunch of recovering people's videos and reposts them and makes a profit from that shit.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Kelly says they fill buses to take everyone there, and it becomes a cult-like thing. I'm sure there are good ones, but not in that community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Angela
Wow.
says, went to AA for 11 years, every day, sometimes more. It became my social group.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
and
feel
know-
bad
know
for
it's all-
people that get sucked in by people like that. Like I can usually smell bullshit
Yeah.
a mile
Yeah.
away, but it's like some people, I mean, I guess, too, when you're desperate and you're wanting help, like you see that and
Right.
you genuinely are like, why not? I'm going to reach out to these people. It's just, like I said, I don't believe in doing the profits over people.
The whole thing is to latch on to the vulnerable newcomer because they
Yeah.
are so new to it that they're they can manipulate their brain.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous, because this plant saves lives. And
Yeah.
this is going to interfere with that.
And this plant keeps people out of those meetings.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, and speaking of that, it's time for something super positive. Misty sent me an awesome video that I had never had seen or heard before. Her own testimony in Colorado.
Oh yeah,
Wait
yeah.
till
Nice.
y'all hear this. I had never heard it before. So thank you, Misty, for sending this. This is so freaking cool. So y'all, it's 2 minutes long. You'll like it.
Brown. Hi, my name is Misty Brown, and I am a loud and proud advocate from Thornton, Colorado. In 2008, I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, which started a whole slew of doctor's appointments, pain management appointments, prescriptions, all that. I am the part of that population that became addicted to my medication. So I did anything and everything I could to get my next fix. I accidentally found Kratom in June of 2019 after I got fired from my pain management clinic for failure to show up for a pill count in April of 2019. I picked up doing cocaine. I was in the middle of my cocaine withdrawals when I watched the documentary Leap of Faith. That's how I found Kratom. What I advocate for is pure, unadulterated Kratom. I want to know that the Kratom that I am getting is safe, that it has no adulterants, it has no bacteria, it has no heavy metals. So June 25th will be 3 years that I have not had a pain pill, a benzo, muscle relaxers, cocaine, or alcohol. I have not had to go back to pain management. I don't need them. I found my answer, which is in a leaf, a tea leaf from Southeast Asia called Kratom. So yes, you know, Big Pharma I'm no longer making them rich. I'm no longer making doctors rich. You know, I'm no longer making my insurance company rich. All because I found a leaf. I just want it safe. I want to know that when I buy my next ounce of Kratom, that it's safe. That's all I ask for. And I'm just a direct consumer. I have no money ties at all with Kratom. Single mother with 3 kids, got my life back. Because I got my life back, my kids got their lives back. They no longer have to take care of their drug addicted mom anymore. That's priceless. That's it.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Dude, that's
Woo!
good.
That was my
Amazing.
second time when I had to go to the Colorado Capitol, you know, to give my testimony. The first time that we went, it wasn't on audio and it wasn't on video. And so, but the second time we went, it was on audio. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to screen record this.
Well, that last part, man, I almost got me. But you're so right. I mean, you're right. Like, you know, you got your life back and your kids got their life back.
Yeah.
And that is priceless. That's priceless.
It is priceless, you know. Like I will always say, my kids no longer have to worry about me. They don't have to worry about coming home and seeing me knotted off on the toilet or, you know, knotted off in the corner somewhere. They don't have to
Yep.
listen to see how I'm breathing. You know, it's just,
They can live for themselves instead of worrying about you all the time.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're not killing themselves with stress because I stressed them the fuck out.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be very good. I mean, I'm going to do it one day, you know, when they come around here, but
Ain't nothing
I
to
know
it
I
but
can
to
do
do it. You
Yeah.
know, I was nervous as hell. You know, you get up there, there's little microphones right there, and then the little timers down on the bottom. You get 3 minutes to speak.
Yeah.
You know, so I just started. And as soon as you get up there, I'm telling you, all the background noise goes away. It's like, I always try to equate it to like someone who's like in NASCAR or something like that. They're about to, you know, the light's about to turn green, you know, then they zone in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Hyper focus.
that's exactly what happens when you go up there and testify.
You did an incredible job. And I even though I've never done something like that personally, I can imagine how difficult that is because, you know, all eyes are on you. You got that microphone in front of you. I'm sure
You're in the
it-
Capitol, like you're where
Yeah.
they're making
Yeah.
laws in
Where they
front of
make
like the
laws.
lawmakers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be very intimidating, but it's amazing to hear that. It was so well done.
Yeah.
It's the best high in the world. No
Yeah.
drug can compare to that high. You know, and I've said this before also, you know, the old Misty would have went into the bathroom and snorted some you know, Oxy 20s or some Xanax or
Yeah.
something before I got up
Yeah.
there. You know, but afterwards, let's talk about the come down from that high.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was just you're I don't know, you get up there, you know that what you're about to say is going to help the law, the KCPA law, and you're unstoppable. You
Mhm.
are unstoppable, and nobody can take that from you.
Well, and you're sharing like you're sharing a part of your life, like a huge part of your life. You're telling everyone what that plan has done for you.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
get
it's a powerful
sharing your truth.
anybody that and testifies and tells their story anywhere. I give much respect to every one
Yeah.
of y'all.
I can't
Yeah.
remember. There was like 10 legislators that were sitting up there like on a panel type thing. There's all eyes are
Yeah.
on you.
Right.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And it did my testimony did help further the KCPA in Colorado.
That's great. How much notice did you get to go up there and speak?
I don't even remember that because this was in
A
2022.
couple years ago. Yeah.
So I don't remember. It might have been a couple days, I think.
Yeah.
Just a couple days. We went up there twice. The first time I went up there was when I met Josh Miller, and Matt Frank and Evan Garcia. And then I met Dr. Jack Henningfield, Matt Caddo. The second time we went up there, I met David Carlucci, Kurt Bramble, Matt Caddo again. It's just to be able. And then, like I said, then we went to DC and then we got to see all the powerful people.
Right.
Yeah.
A
So
lot.
now I feel like if we go to DC and have to testify in front of Congress for the federal KCPA,
Mhm.
I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is say when.
Yeah.
My
Well,
colored
y'all got
hair
the
and nails will
privilege of
be up
like
there.
sitting there watching the science, like everybody that's
Yeah.
researching kratom. So
Yep.
I mean, that was awesome.
It
I'm
was
glad y'all got
amazing to be
do
in that
that.
room live in DC on Capitol Hill back in December, just to hear one after the other go up there to share, the truth and the
Yeah.
true science.
You could feel the science power that was in there. It was
Yeah.
so amazing.
It was so cool.
Hey, John.
Oh, John's here. Hey, John, thank you for joining us.
John.
One of our
What?
Kratom guys, one of our regulars.
What's up, John?
So, yeah, I'm going to play this next video. Quite interesting. This was a news story that came out yesterday. I'm sure some of you have already heard about it. There is a video that goes with it. I'm going to play the video. This is what the headline says. Report: driver had kratom chemical in system at time of fatal Rankin County crash.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm so
Wow.
glad there's a video for us to watch of this, because when I saw that headline yesterday, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the F is what now? Especially now that, what was it, Dr. Kirsten Smith? Who was it that just put out a report
The
about
driving, yeah,
driving,
it was her.
kratom and
The driving
driving?
study.
That
Mhm.
that there are no issues, right? Isn't that what it had said?
Yep.
Yep.
So, but I
Kratom
just
doesn't impair the driving.
right. But for them to call it kratom chemical,
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen it called that before. Have you? Have you y'all ever
I
seen it
haven't.
referred to as
No.
kratom chemical?
Nope.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. So it's only 39 seconds long. It's short. So I'm gonna play this for y'all.
Stories making news today. Rankin County authorities say a toxicology report shows that a chemical in kratom was in a driver's system when a fatal crash happened earlier this year. That crash happened around 7:30 a.m. back on January the 19th at Barnett Bend Circle and Old Fannin Road. After arriving on scene, first responders attempted life-saving measures, but the driver died on the scene. Sheriff Brian Bailey said a specimen of the driver's blood was submitted for toxicology analysis. Rankin County has banned the use, sale, and possession of kratom.
This was in January?
Yeah, when the crash happened. So I posted on TikTok and I copied someone's comment from the Facebook thread because this person knows the guy. This person says, I wonder how he would feel about y'all using his death to push this BS fear-mongering propaganda. I knew him personally. He's probably rolling in his grave. What else was on the toxicology report?
Right.
That's the second comment I saw where someone knew the guy.
Wow.
It's a
And
good question.
this is the whole Mississippi. Um, I
That's
talk
what it
to the
was,
advocates.
Mississippi?
Yeah,
It
I
was
talk to
Mississippi.
the
Okay.
advocates all the time from Mississippi, and Mississippi has been on this straight crusade to ban kratom in the entire state.
Yeah.
It's like Louisiana and it's like Illinois, where they went city by city, county by county. Yeah, it is banned in Rankin County, for possession, use, so somebody could be in the next Marshall Price.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
And it's once again pushed by the sheriff's associations.
Well, and the thing is, it's like the entire thing is just about the chemical found in kratom. First of all, like they're not sharing anything else
What
about.
the fuck is the chemical?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kratom alkaloids are not chemicals.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man.
More
It sounds like somebody
misinformation.
just threw that out there. And they're like, "Hey, make a news story on this."
Right.
Don't it doesn't have to make sense because nobody knows what the hell, when they're watching the news.
Yeah, it'll just sound better if we use the word chemical to scare people.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
Right.
gee whiz, that was a
Like a
first.
trigger word or something like, "Oh, a chemical?"
And then you got people in the Facebook comment thread saying, "Oh yeah, let's pull it off the shelves."
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Yep. Oh,
And so my comeback was, "Are you talking about cigarettes, pop, cupcakes, Red
Right.
Bulls, Monster Energy drinks, or what are you talking about?"
Yeah. Craziness out there.
But that's how we attack those news stories, because once it comes to my Google alerts, I will go try to find to see if it's on the news stories Facebook page, and then I'll share it to my group, and then I'm like, go sprinkle that kratom kindness over
yeah.
there in the comments.
Yes.
Well, it's the best thing. I think it's a really good way of doing it because there's so much misinformation on Facebook alone, and people read those freaking headlines and, they'll repost it and reshare it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think like going to the article like you do is like a really, really good way of throwing the good stuff in, so
You
when
never
people read
know.
that.
You never know if the journalist who's actually doing that story, because me and Kristen Granger, a journalist had took our comments in that Facebook thread and made a news story from that. So you
Yeah,
never
I
know.
remember that. Yeah.
Never know.
Our next video is a news story that is actually from 4 years ago. It's not super recent. It's News for Jax, Jax, I'm assuming is Jacksonville. And the title is A Toxicologist Joins Us to Talk About the Dangers of Kratom. And it's about 6 minutes long, but it's interesting. So I thought this would be worth watching, see what y'all think of it. So let me pull this up.
About a popular herb sold in several local stores. It's called Kratom and is marketed as an organic painkiller that can also boost energy, alleviate anxiety and depression. Some use it even for opioid withdrawal. But a local couple says it killed their son. At first, in fact, the medical examiner labeled Richie Nelson, their son's death, as undetermined. It wasn't until the family found this package of kratom in his car that they asked the ME to retest their son's blood. And that's when they discovered the 25-year-old died of kratom poisoning. He had no illegal drugs or alcohol in his system. Now, Richie's parents contacted us. They want the public to know about the potential dangers of this herb. And it's why we've asked a toxicologist to join us this morning to help us understand the risk. Dr. Dawn Soley is the director of Florida's Poison Control Centers here in
We've seen her on videos
Thank you for
before.
being here. So we know that kratom
Florida
is
Poison
basically a
Control.
tree in Southeast Asia. It can be used as a tea. It can be crushed, as we see here, and put into capsules. That said, it's not regulated by the FDA. What does that mean in terms of the potential risk to someone who takes one of these pills or more than one of these pills?
Well, first of all, when you buy one package of it, that doesn't mean you're going to get the exact same thing the next time you buy it, even if it's the same brand. It comes in multiple different forms. You'll find it even in liquids. You'll find it now in vape liquids as well. You can even buy it in a taffy. So they used to even make it in a gummy bear formulation. I've seen that one is off the market now, and a gum at one point in time. So you're right, it is marketed for a variety of different reasons. But the biggest thing is that it can be contaminated with things. There has been some testing. Some have even been recalled due to containing salmonella in it. Some have had heavy metals in it. Some have even had more active ingredient in it than the plant material normally contains, meaning that somebody kind of put some more in there to try and make it a little bit euphoric or to have some more addiction potential to
And
it.
because it's not
That's why we get
regulated
a
by
tested
FDA, as an
product.
example, there's no way of
Right.
knowing then what the risk could be in terms of what really is in it.
Correct.
So one of the things that I find is interesting, so this is something that we bought, locally here. It calls it a supplement, okay, this Kratom package here. And if you look on the back of it, there's a warning talking about the ingredient that it contains, and it must be sold, to someone who's 18 years or older. But there's nothing in here that explains how much is too much to take. No warning at all about don't take more than 6 a day or an hour, as an example. Is that the other risk here, is because someone could look at this and think that it's an herb and it can't hurt me and take more than maybe they should?
Unfortunately, anything sold over the counter has that risk. In other words, that if someone doesn't have any clear idea or that is regulated in any way, shape, or form, they have an unclear idea that it's safe. And that isn't necessarily the case. And with
But the
these,
responsible vendors
unfortunately,
put
there's
that
a
on
variation
the
of
Look what look what this says. Organic killer.
Wow.
Down at the
Mhm.
bottom.
Mm.
Whoa. Do y'all want to talk about it for a minute, or you want me to keep going?
Well,
You keep going.
the responsible vendors, they put all that information on the
Right.
packaging.
And they'll have the link, usually a QR code or something, to link
Yeah.
to their testing results. Yeah.
effects.
But this
depending
was
on
4
the
years ago, so
Yeah.
So some
Oh,
people
okay.
take smaller doses for that giddiness, that euphoria, that just a little boost of energy. Whereas higher doses can be used more for sedation or can cause more of a calming effect. So there is a wide variety. And the
I just want to say, I know they always say everybody uses the same talking points.
Yeah.
For me personally, if I take high doses, it does not make me sleepy. It does not give me an opioid-like feeling. I get so tired of hearing that because they're just always being so generic. Low doses, you get
Yeah.
energy. High doses,
Yeah.
Everybody
you're
says that. Yeah.
euphoric. And it's like, you know what? I can take 1 teaspoon or I can take 2 teaspoons. I'm going to get a boost of energy. I'm not going to feel euphoric. It helps my
even
pain.
even when I was taking 5 teaspoons 5 times a day, I wasn't getting sleepy. I wasn't getting nodded off feeling. None of that was happening
Right.
with me.
Yeah.
I was just chasing. That's why we say I was chasing the imaginary dragon. You
Yeah.
know, I kept thinking that, oh, okay, if I keep taking more and more and more, I'm going to find that euphoria that everybody's talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
That doesn't
Yep.
I was overloading my body with a lot of plant matter is what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah. And of course, some people say when they consume red kratom that it does make them sleepy. I wish it did for me. I wish it would help me sleep. It does not. But we also know this plant affects everybody differently. I just get
Yeah.
so
That's
tired of hearing that same talking point over and over and over because it's like what they're talking about is not my experience with kratom
Right.
at all. So, yeah, let's finish this up. I don't think there's that much left, but this lady, every time there's something with Florida, they always have we've seen her before in some of the videos we've watched because her being at poison control in Florida.
the
So,
longer you use it, you do get tolerance to it. So that means that you might
not
have to
me.
take more and more. So even
No,
what was
Nope.
a normal dose in the very beginning, if you've been taking it for years, you may have to take more to get that same effect
no,
later on.
So
no.
it's
You
interesting.
rotate
Also,
vendors.
is there any
me.
research
Not for me.
that suggests that this could also, do we know, could this build up in the body where you take someone like Richie Nelson, whose parents just absolutely insist he would never do anything to purposely harm himself, but perhaps what happened is he took more than he should, not knowing, because it built up over time, maybe over a series of days or even longer in his body, and ended up eventually poisoning him.
Maybe he drank too much water that day because
Right.
Yeah.
and, the Hamilton Morris video we just watched, he talked about all that, right? That anything can kill you. It's just, he had a package of kratom, so that's what killed him.
This is just another example of finding kratom on scene.
Yeah.
They
Right.
found it I forgot where they found it, but yeah. So the ME's going to come to the conclusion, oh, it was right by his body. So
Right.
Well, and in the very beginning, she does state that there was no other illegal drugs in his
Right.
system.
Yeah.
But it's like, what FDA approved drugs were in his system? Like,
Mhm.
you know, did he have a pre-existing condition? You know,
Right.
I mean, it could be a
Right.
thousand things that took him out, but to label it as kratom toxicity is ridiculous
Right.
if they didn't actually do the, you know, the correct
Yeah,
procedures.
because Kelly brings up a great point. He would have thrown it up. That's what happens
Mm-hmm.
when you take too much. So, and then we got Mina here. Hey, thank you for joining us. She
Hey,
says,
Mina.
I've had kratom make me feel good, but never ever like an oxy or a pain pill.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And listen, I took the oxy and the pain pills for 9 years every single day. Kratom has never made me feel like that ever. I was just happy, and I was happy because kratom was helping me with what was making me unhappy.
Exactly.
Such a great
Yep.
point, and that's what so many of us advocates talk about. Like, it does what we're looking for it to do without getting high, without causing us to get into a car crash. I can't believe that's like the latest thing now they're really, talking about in the news. Like, it's causing car crashes.
I mean, I know tolerance is a thing for some people, but I mean, they act like, you know, when you're on pain pills, you do have to increase
Yeah.
after
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
it's like a
Mm.
staircase. You're gonna have to do it. But it's like with kratom, I've noticed, you know, even after 5 years, it's like some days I may not have to take that much. Some days I do, but it's not like it's tripled or some, you know, in
Right.
5 years. Like I'm
Right.
pretty much at the same, you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Same here.
I've been at my same dose every day, 4 times a day, every day. I've been taking 2 teaspoons of kratom, which is about 4.5 to 5 grams for years. For probably the
yeah.
last 3 years, I've been at the same dose, and I was already taking it for years prior. And it just pisses me off when people talk like, "Oh, you keep needing more and more, and you're gonna build tolerance."
Yeah.
That's not been my experience.
Not mine either.
So frustrating hearing that. Well, let's wrap this up because she's almost done.
Don't really have any good data on that. We have some of the initial kinetic information based on the original way it's used in Malaysia and Thailand, which is either chewing on the leaves or
Thailand.
making a tea out of it. And we know that usually the duration from a therapeutic dose is usually about 5 hours, but that can vary depending on what your form is. So there is a lot of variability with that. So we don't know really about how it builds up or not. The University of Florida has gotten a grant from the National Institute on Drug Abuse, and it's almost $7 million over the next
It's way
7
more than
years
that
for them
now.
to study kratom
Yeah.
and to look at the effects and to see whether or not it can be used safely as a medicinal product.
So it's interesting you mentioned that because I've had a number of people since the story first aired last night contact me swearing that kratom has literally saved their lives. It's changed their life. They don't have the pain that they had. We're not taking a position on it other than sharing the story of this local couple. But that said, your message to members of the public who maybe take kratom about, at the very least, making sure that you know what you're taking and how much.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing is to be safe with your products. In other words, try to make sure that you are, at least if there are instructions on it, following the instructions. There is a lot of information out there on the web about how much to take for what type of an effect. And
Do your
unfortunately, in
research.
the case it sounds like, he may have taken too much in that case. And that's a sad story. And anytime you have a situation where someone takes too much of something, something bad may happen. But you're right.
Problem with this is you don't know
You
how
don't know
much
how much is in
necessarily
it.
is too much because you don't know how much is in it. Dr. Soley, thank you for being here. Important information for our viewers. Do appreciate your feedback.
And again, that's why, you know, we support the KCPA regulation, proper
Right.
Yeah.
labeling,
Right.
yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. So in the article, it
Absolutely.
says that the kratom package was found in his car, and Richie's younger brother found the kratom package and took it to the medical examiner.
Yeah.
A new test revealed a lethal dose of the herb in Richie's body.
Which
But it was
there
just
is
a
What?
no
powder.
lethal dose. There
Right.
What's the
is
lethal
no
dose?
found lethal dose at this point.
Right. But it wasn't
But
even
there,
an extract. It was
yeah.
the powder. You take too much powder, you're gonna throw up.
Yep.
Like every time I see that or hear that, I want to be like, okay, well, how much was the lethal dose? Because, you know, they're saying they can't tell you a
And
lethal dose.
Missy and I
Right.
There
were in the
is no
room.
proven lethal
Missy and I
dose.
were in that room where they talked about, where the scientists
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. And they were all intrigued and listening to each other do their presentations. is very clear. There is no lethal dose. And the FDA is going to be, sharing their report hopefully soon that they've already done in a presentation saying that is safe. Kratom is safe.
Exactly.
They've done the
I
testing.
hope that, I mean, I know it's going to take a while because it's the FDA and, they don't want to admit they're wrong, but I think eventually we will start seeing stuff change. I mean, it's going to take a while, but
Yeah, right. Because here the FDA did this presentation back in February. For anybody that got here late, we were talking about this earlier. There's a really awesome podcast episode that Etha Botanical puts out. It's called Live Fully with Kratom. I'm actually going to replay their FDA episode next week on Kratom Stories. And uh, Alexander Karp, who's one of the co-founders of that company, he was at the third annual Kratom Symposium. It was in Florida back in February. The FDA was there along with all the other Kratom scientists, and they got up and did a presentation about their findings of a dosing study with humans and found that Kratom is safe at all doses. Now, he said in this podcast that they're not going to be sharing their findings publicly until later this year, like in the fall, which is a long time from now. And it's just sad that things move so slowly like that. It's like, why can't they just put it out now? I guess that's just part of government red tape.
They're
Yeah.
protecting their other interests. They got to get their other interests in.
Yeah, put it in
yeah, it's like
order.
everybody has
Yeah.
to be like, okay, I guess we can,
They're
Yeah.
probably like,
everybody
oh
has to be
shit,
in agreement.
where else should
It's
we
time finally.
where else should we buy some stocks and bonds at?
Yep.
Right.
Which ones
So
should
I
we
mean,
sell?
it says on here too that he had no illegal drugs or alcohol in his
Exactly.
system. So what legal drugs did Richie have in his system?
Yeah. What
Right.
FDA approved drugs did he have? Like, did he have a medical condition?
Right.
Like, what if I'm just saying, what if, and say not even this guy, say, God forbid, someone lost their kid and they see the kratom package and they're automatically kratom toxicity death. Well, say my kid had a heart attack, he had a heart attack at 25 or whatever. And, the coroner didn't do their job and tell me that. So years down the line, my other son could possibly have a heart attack or, some other type
Right.
of, it might be genetic. It's like that. I always think about stuff like that because it's like, that's, when somebody doesn't do their job, it's like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
And so from
Yeah.
you just sitting there and not doing your due diligence and finding out the actual cause of death, then you're only hurting other people.
So
That's
what
in my
if
opinion.
so what if a bottle of Mountain Dew was found next to him?
Exactly.
Right.
What if
Exactly.
Starbucks was found next to him? Would they have labeled this as Starbucks or Mountain Dew death? You can't say that somebody died from a substance because it's found next to them or in the
Yep.
vicinity of them. And that's what we
Right.
see a lot with these adult kids kratom deaths. It's found in or around the body.
Like the Ohio mom,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I think
Yes.
she is doing just, an amazing job at trying to, raise awareness that it happened because if it
Yeah.
were me, I would be doing the same thing, and
Heck
now
yeah.
she can never know why her son, she'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So, it's and like what we see with KDA, it's all about trying to get that bag. They're trying to get
Yeah.
that lawsuit money. They're trying, and they
Yeah.
are trying really hard.
Well, Angela makes a great comment here. If they can't find the true cause of death, kratom is the killer. It's like it's exactly what they always do. They just point to kratom. Well, there was a bag of it in the apartment. That's what this person died from. So frustrating. So frustrating. And then Craig makes a good comment too. Almost every single death has been polydrug use. That's
Yeah.
a fact. They tried to ban alcohol in the 20s, and you see what happened there. Prohibition would never work.
That's how mafias was created.
Right. Could you imagine in a world where our kratom in the whole US is banned? It's a federal ban. But this is what works for us and it's natural because it's a plant. It becomes black market kratom, and then you really don't know what you're getting. You're
Right.
gambling. Just like had I not discovered kratom, my alternative to losing access to my pain management medications was to go find a drug dealer and always worrying every pill I take for my pain, is it going to have fentanyl in it? Because that's what happens in the black market, especially
Mhm.
right now. And that's where this would go with kratom. We're like, we don't know what we're getting and what is being added to it.
Yeah.
That's
It would
scary.
be the vendor that was trying to get the people that wanted to get high and was adding things to it to get those sales, and nobody
Yeah.
would know because they're not testing.
Like what happened in Sweden when they added
Yeah.
tramadol to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was the reason why it killed those people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason why, because it was added. So John says, I'm feeling very anxious at the amount of negative lies I see on the news. I know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it
how,
Well,
it does. It
Yep.
makes you really feel when you back to back to back all the time, like it really does get to you. Like
Mhm.
you're
yeah,
on social media, you see it on social media, it's on the actual TV news. It's everywhere. And it's just anxious is a good word for that. It's just it's stressful. It's
use that
stressful.
anxious feeling to light your advocacy
yes,
fires.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if
You
you
exactly.
know?
comment on those videos, that's how I got that interview with, I should remember his name, but my mind blanks out. But that interview with that one TV reporter was commenting under his post to tell him
Oh
that he was
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so
You know,
scary
and I
back then.
saw, speaking of Jordan Richard from earlier where you were talking about him, um, he's gonna have an interview with the LA Times people.
I saw that on his
Cool.
TikTok.
Yeah, and my comment was hopefully they don't fuck you over like the Washington
Right.
Post guy fucked
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
You
Hopefully
know,
it's positive.
and that chick Robin was like, you guys should talk about that on your creative stories.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I met that Washington Post guy in DC. He was very interested in my story. And then I get back home and he wants to follow up with me about my testimony because his reason for me was he follows the opioid epidemic. He wants people to know that there's an option if they're struggling to get off of opioids, this, that, and third, right? So he wanted to use my story to help people that are struggling. That's not what the fuck he did with my story.
Yeah.
Right.
He put my
Yeah.
story in
Yeah.
with the whole Florida deadly dose bullshit,
Right.
and deaths about kratom deaths, and my story is just as a little paragraph, a little blurb in there.
Yeah. It's like a sentence or two.
When
Yeah.
yours should have been the
Main
main
headline.
Yeah,
Right.
he
yeah.
just
Right.
he screwed you over, dude. And that's another thing. It's like you can't trust journalists.
Yeah, I
You
know
really
that
can't.
now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that many times in journalism, and not to go off on all of them, but they don't always fact check properly. And being that
No.
I was when I was building my online music community in the 90s and into the 2000s, we used to get a lot of publicity all over, building this online community for female musicians. We put on shows all over and stuff. And I can't tell you, because you grow up reading the newspaper, watching the news, and you believe everything they say
Yeah.
because they're journalists. And I'm not anti-journalist, but I can't tell you how many times I'd be misquoted. There'd be an article that'd come out or a magazine or something, and I would read it and I go, where do they get some of these numbers? It's like, where do some of these things come from that they talked about? Like, that's not what I said. It's like they twisted it or they just didn't fact check.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you can't always trust what you read in print, even
No.
though that a lot of us grew up that way. And it's like, wow, like, is it just they're not smart and they just don't pay attention to what you tell them? I don't know. So
Yeah.
I've really learned to believe just from all the times I got misquoted is that I if I'm reading something that sounds wacky, it probably is wacky.
Right.
See, John says he needs you to teach him how to advocate more. And he's in
Mhm.
DC. He's in DC.
I know. I
Oh,
remember you were
wow.
saying that.
We didn't know at the time. We didn't
Yeah.
know at the time. Yeah, we didn't really know him well yet. So we didn't know that's where he was when we were there back in December. But now we know. Now we know.
I would be more than happy to teach you. Any of us would be.
Yeah.
And you're in the medical field, dude. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Come on with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. I'd mentioned earlier before you got here, John, that we're really connecting with more and more people in the medical field that have tried kratom and see the benefits and are talking about and advocating for it. And so one of the things you missed earlier is that one of the interviews I did yesterday for the podcast, it's not going to come out till next month, is with Dr. Mike, who's really popular on TikTok. He has 35,000 31,000 followers on TikTok, and he is a licensed nurse practitioner in North Carolina. He has his own practice. It is primary care and pain. They combine it, and it's fascinating. His TikTok is fascinating. He's so sharing, so giving. But what really caught my attention was when he tried Kratom several months ago. He had met Jordan from New Hope Botanicals, and Jordan helped him because he had members of his community ask about Kratom. And he's like, well, he suffers from chronic pain as well. And he thought, well, I'm going to try it so I can report accurately. And he is so amazing in now understanding the power of this plant as an alternative. So while his practice, helps people with chronic pain and opioids and stuff, he is letting people know that if you can't access your opioids anymore for your chronic pain, this is something worth checking into. And I think it's amazing that more and more people in the medical field are learning the truth about Kratom. They're trying Kratom. We need to see more of that. So, John, I think it'd be great to get you advocating more in the medical field itself.
Yeah.
To help people understand.
Yep.
Be that person that's willing to grab the bull by its horns and teach other medical professionals about this.
Well, he says he's willing to do anything he can locally. The White House is 20 minutes from me. That's awesome.
That's great.
We were so close to you in December. Oh my God.
Yeah. I still, like, when me, Bud, and Josh Miller went to the White House, I still can't believe how small the White House looked to me. I don't know why. On TV and shit, it looks so humongous.
Yeah.
I didn't go over there, but I tell you what was so cool was when you, me, and Bud, and Julian were in front of the Supreme Court, and it's like it was like you see it on TV, you see it in the paper, but like so majestic, like standing in front of it on the steps. Especially because there was nobody around when we were doing that, except for the 2 security guards on the stairs. But it's like, wow, this is where so much happens. And then being in front of Capitol Hill later that night when Julian did that amazing video, and just there's just something electric about being there.
I mean, it's,
in person.
Where things happen in our, in America. Like that is, like, I can't imagine. It's got to be super cool.
Yeah. Craig says, what upsets me the most is the Kratom Karens, as I call them, purposely trying to hurt you when they have nothing else to say by saying, try stopping Kratom and see how that goes. Why would I have to? It helps my pain, generalized anxiety, and social woes. I'm sticking with it, with what works, F off. And I feel the exact same way. We've talked about this before here. Let them go walk a mile in our shoes and see how they feel with the pain we live with and the issues we have. Why would why would we stop?
It's like, would you walk up to somebody coming out of pain management and say, try to stop taking your medicine? It's pretty much saying, why don't you just stop trying to live is what it's saying. It's like, why don't you just get in the bed and freaking die? I mean, it just bothers me when they say that too. It's like, okay, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? Kratom is what makes me function every day, not in pain. People that don't deal with chronic pain, they make me so upset.
And the pain management doctors, they do that. They do tell you, try and make it on your own without your medicine. Like when they write you the prescription and the pharmacy doesn't have it. You know what I mean? And they just don't care. And they should be telling them about the plant. They should be telling them about Kratom.
They can't get no kickbacks from it, so they ain't gonna say shit.
Right. You're right.
Right. Craziness. Well, we watched a lot of interesting videos today, didn't we? I mean, this time I can't believe it's like almost 2 hours. It's like, doesn't ever feel like it. Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the time going, I mean, I got more videos, but it's like it's late. And we're doing this every week now. So it's not like, plus I seem to be having a hot flash. Can you see how red I am? Oh my gosh, I'm definitely having a hot flash at the moment. It's like I'm turning all red. We like to close out with, we started this tradition last week with our good friend Jordan Richard from New Hope Botanicals. He has a music video he created years ago called Thankful for Kratom. I love this video so much. So we're kind of tired of Molecule Molly. I think we all like this as a new change of pace.
I love it.
So I'm going to play this as we close out. Thank you all so much for being here. This is just so much fun to do every week.
Thank y'all for coming. I always enjoy Saturdays. I love
Me
reading
too.
everybody's comments. You know, it's nice that we were all coming together and doing this together. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's
And thank you
groovy.
for
It's very
watching the
cool.
replay.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for watching the replay. Comment down
Share.
below if you're watching
Yeah.
the replay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hashtag
share.
replay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, hashtag
you.
replay.
I like that. We do this every Saturday afternoon. It's like our thing. So y'all feel free to join us every Saturday or watch the replay if you can't make it live. We are broadcasting this from all over too, just FYI. This is on the Kratom Stories Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're on, let me go through each. We have, it's not really showing me. I know we're on Misty's Facebook. And what's your other one today? Are you
I
doing
think I put it to
YouTube?
YouTube.
Yeah, you're on YouTube.
And Jennifer,
went off.
you're doing Facebook and
I'm
the,
doing Twitter and YouTube.
Twitter. Oh, YouTube. Okay. And then Venus,
Facebook and YouTube. Kratom
Yeah.
Miracles.
we got them all over the place. So wherever you're watching, if you came here late, you can watch as soon as we're done, you can go and just hit the replay. Or you can always go over to any of these platforms to watch them later. So thank you all so much. Let's watch Jordan and his awesome music video.
I'ma spit a little story, I'ma keep it brief. My life is so insane, but it changed with just a leaf. It made me feel complete. I never thought I would. Used to be that person that's rehearsing to pretend he's good. I felt misunderstood. To feel good, I will pop pills. I'm not fronting. Popping 20 Norcos, that was nothing. Too many, it was plenty. Couldn't handle it. Mama, she was crushed when I was rushed away by ambulance. Feeling so pathetic, man. I can barely stand it all. Surrounded by paramedics, so I told them about the tramadol. How many I took. Their looks were so embarrassing. But I had to go. My liver burning like some kerosene. Right now, God, I'm thankful for Kratom. So happy that you made it. Tell you right now, never back down. Let's just band together and let nobody take it. Right now, God, I'm thankful for Kratom. So happy that you made it. Tell you right now, never back down. Let's just band together and let nobody take it.
See, the worst thing is when people try to come in and take away your freedom. Just because they're not profiting from something, they'd rather you be sick than healthy. They'd rather be wealthy than you be well.
See, I don't know where I'd be without this plans. It's not a facade, changed who I am. Used to be an addict, nowadays I am a man. I don't think you understand, I don't think you understand. Yo, life as an addict, it was so over dramatic. Act sporadic, get pissed, and then you flip like some acrobatics. Listen to me, I would never steer you wrong. We should chant about the plan that helps us all just get along. I love the volley, makes me jolly, filled with happiness. I'm the guy who loves a tie, sprinkle with some capitalist. I think it's awesome and delicious. Every day the FDA lies and tries to make it look so vicious. I wonder why, rather have it sick than healthy. Long as their pockets are wealthy, driving in a Bentley, they prevent me from living free. Actually, it's just a tea, lets you live so happily. But they ain't getting paid cause it ain't man-made. Right now, God, I'm thankful for Kratom. So happy that you made it. Tell you right now, never back down. Let's just band together and let nobody take it. Right now, God, I'm thankful for Kratom. So happy that you made it. Tell you right now, never back down. Let's just band together and let nobody take it.
Yeah. Woo.
And
This
so,
video.
right now, that
Wow.
chick, what was her name? Rihanna? Yeah.
It started with an R. I think it was
Yeah.
Rihanna.
So, now she's thankful for Kratom. Her and her husband
Yeah.
are thankful for Kratom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that
Yeah.
is such a jamming song, though, dude.
And
It
It
really
is.
is.
great.
It
And
kind
it
of
gives
gets in
me
your
Start
head,
moving.
too.
Yeah, and it always
I
gives
love
me
that.
chills. There's different parts of it, like, just gives me the chills. It's like so powerful, his message.
Yeah.
And like,
It is.
and the visuals of him telling the story. That's so
Mhm.
good. So much fun. Yeah, we gotta get that Rihanna on here. She was
Yeah.
for anybody that came late, you watched the beginning, the first video we played. So good.
Yeah.
So good. A new Kratom consumer.
And it always, anytime someone will start telling their story when they just found Kratom, it brings me back to when I
Yes.
first found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
that excitement. It's like,
Yep.
wow, this is amazing stuff.
Like my very first, I guess, like 6 months. I didn't know that there was. I don't know. I just didn't look into Facebook communities or anything like that. So that's all my family heard about. That's all
Right.
anybody around me heard about. You know what I mean? That's all I talked about. But it's just so. It's just so amazing, and you just want to tell everybody. You want
Yeah.
to tell everybody.
I want
Definitely.
everybody to feel that.
Yeah.
It's like
What?
America's best kept secret that they keep
Yes.
trying to keep
Yeah.
secret.
Yep.
And
We're
we
not
don't
going to
want
let
that.
them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're loud and proud advocates and why we do the Kratom Gals live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been fun, y'all. As always, I hope everybody's safe that's in the path of those tornadoes and hail and storms and stuff.
Man, I hate those things. We don't get them too often here in Tennessee, but man, when we do, it is intense. I'm always like telling the kids, I'm like, y'all run and get in the bathtub and I'll throw a mattress over y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we
Man.
don't have like shelters and stuff here,
Right.
but yeah, it's always really scary, especially when the sirens start going off and stuff. Man.
Wow.
So I hope everybody stays safe.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't get them much in Delaware at all. But Mom used to always take us down in the basement to sleep if they were at night. And then we wouldn't have to go to school the next day because we were up all night
Yeah.
watching.
Well, we don't have basements here because we're at sea
Yeah,
level.
we don't
so
either.
no basements. And no sirens. Well, we do get tornadoes sometime, but not so much in the city. It's more of like out in the burbs and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hope everybody's safe if they're in the path, and come back next Saturday. We'll
Yeah,
do
we'll
this
see y'all
again.
next Saturday.
Believe me, we got
Thank
plenty more
you.
videos to watch. I still had a list for today, but it's only so many hours in the
I
day.
Yeah.
know.
We already did 2 hours. We're officially at an hour and 51 minutes. So
Wow.
yeah, we have so many people still here. We got
I
67
know.
people live. It's like,
That's
wow,
amazing.
it
Thank
is.
you.
So thank you everybody for watching us live. We appreciate that. We'll see
Everybody
y'all
have a
next
good rest of your
Saturday.
Saturday.
Have a good
Bye.
weekend.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.